All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm back here straightway for a moment, and I want to make a short video here speaking about culture. It's been in my mind, and I really truly need to put emphasis on this, communicate this as directly as I can possible, hopefully to try to stimulate thought. And more than anything, to try to get people to comprehend, for those who are intelligent and those who choose to exercise a little bit of self-autonomy. Remember this, that Pastor Dow is not the institution that has taught you fairy tales and have taught you lies in this particular society or culture we find ourselves in. And with that said, I want you to understand something. We live in a world, and I'm going to say things that, to your mind, it may be painful, but I'll be brutally honest and truthful. And I'm not going to make this a long video. This is just kind of like it's going to be like an introductory to what I'm speaking about, okay? First of all, let's just go ahead and define culture, okay? Culture of any, and I'm going to use this word right here, society. And the reason why, I pause at times using different words, because I know that the listening audience out there really truly do not know the etymology, nor that they comprehend a lot of words. We assume that when we read something, I give an example, here we are, and I got a few digressions going here, I understand that. We have the King James Version of the Bible right here, and it comes from an English perspective. But understand this as well. This Bible is translated from an English culture, meaning that that is the lens that people view things from. That is the perspectives. So when you go to any churches in this land, no matter what the flavor of the churches may be, they may different in dress, they may different in attitude, they may different in customs and something like this. But nevertheless, make no mistake about it, they all are pretty much the same, simply because of this culture here in the West. And what they have actually given to us and defined for us. That's like it. I'll give you an example. For those of us who have actually watched a lot of biblical movies, we see that they define those movies from a European culture. Well, there's only one problem, though, a great big problem. The Bible is not a European culture. The Bible is a Hebrew culture, where it comes from the land of Ham. And the land of Ham has been renamed by the conqueror, Leo Scipius Africanus. And in that land right there, you've had people of different nations take the Hebrew culture simply because they were disobedient against the Most High Yah, His law, statutes, and commandments, and then they've repackaged it, rehashed it, retranslated. And by the time they have given it to us, it's a very watered down, abstract version of the Bible. And so when we watch Hollywood, we'll see people who culturally, seriously, is not defined. Moses was not white. And I know that many of you have base minds immediately start going off into racism. But I think it's racism personally when you don't tell the truth, no matter what the truth is. And what difference, that's what a lot of people will say. What difference does it make? I'll tell you the difference that it makes. It makes the difference for the sake of honoring the truth, because when you look at something and you view it from a different culture perspective, then you're going to have blinders and blocks put up in front of your mind that will not open up the doors of your mind to be able to see the things the way they really truly are. Hollywood has enough actors that they could put a black Moses and black Hebrews, because it's obvious when you go look at the hieroglyphics, it's obvious that Egypt was a black nation. It's obvious to that. But when you look at it the way that it's culturally defined here in the West, they don't do that. They'll make the majority of the people who have actually had some type of Ottoman Turk mix and stuff like that, they'll put them in as slaves, but then they'll make all the main actors white. And that's just not culturally true. When you read the Apocrypha and stuff, it says that, this particular culture right here painted everything, their images, including Jesus. Jesus was not white. Jesus was a black man. And I say it once, I said it 1,000 times. Before you will get white people in this culture, in this world, in this society, on this side of the pond, to recognize that Jesus was black. They would rather run through hell with gasoline draws on, because their culture doesn't define morals, laws, customs, capabilities, virtues, the way that this book does. And so we have now in this culture a heavily influenced European society that's trying to define for us what the Hebrew society is. And of course, now you've got people calling themselves Hebrews, calling themselves Jews. And in fact, the Bible is clear that they are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan. And I know that I'm dropping a lot of knowledge for this introductory here, but I'm going to go a little bit more into culture later on. Take this away from this video. Things are not the way they seem just because somebody has put something in front of you. For instance, if you're going to conquer a nation, the first thing you do is you lower the population. The reason why you lower the population is because you don't want the threat of that population to ever rise up against the culture that you're trying to stimulate and what you're trying to bring forth. That's why when the Europeans came over here, and then they killed what is commonly called the American Indians, but the Apocrypha defines this land as the land of Asra. The first thing they did was just start killing off all this population. They killed off all this population because they don't want the threat of war to ever rise up again to change their cultural perspective. And I can go on and on. I think I'll just go ahead and stop here. I think I've given you enough to think about. I think I've stimulated thought enough. I also speak about this culture perspective on the social, political, economics perspective and point of view, as well as the religious more than anything, to try to get you to comprehend, or at least to see exactly what has happened to all of us. In other words, we have a way presented to us that's just simply not the way. And that's the truth. And that's the true straight way. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.